Top of the morning, good people. Welcome to another edition of Double the Innocence with your boy E-Dub, Gem Dropper, Showstopper. Well, we're here to talk about the Miami Heat today, buddies. More importantly, we're here to talk about Jimmy Butler. Now, I'm not sure exactly how a lot of you individuals out there really feel about the whole entire situation, but seeing as I'm an individual that grew up watching basketball in the 80s and appreciating everything that basketball had to offer back then, I'll be one of the first people to tell you, man, it's a breath of fresh air to see that there are still some organizations and some GMs that are willing to run their organizations as they feel fit. In my personal humble opinion. Pat Riley is one of the very few old school GMs or coaches that they have left right now in the league. And I'm asking the same question like everybody else is asking. If LeBron James, if Dwayne Wade, if Shaquille O'Neal, just to mention a few of the superstars that passed through Miami, Alonzo Mourning, if all of these particular individuals were not able to go to Miami and call the shots there, what in the world would make you believe that Jimmy Butler would be that guy? You guys got to remember, Pat Riley won championships with LeBron James. Pat Riley has won championships with Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade. Pat Riley hasn't won jack crap with your so-called king, LeBron James. He hasn't won, with your so-called superstar, Jimmy Butler. And this is going to be the man that's going to come and dictate the pace in Miami? Really? Now, in terms of Jimmy Butler's game, I am one of those individuals that have a lot of respect for Jimmy Butler's game. I think that, especially the younger Jimmy Butler. Let me go back. Let me start. Jimmy Butler that started off with the Chicago Bulls. Now, that was a man. That was the man. Young up-and-coming star. He was unstoppable. That's when Jimmy Butler was a real star in this league. An up-and-coming star as far as I'm concerned. Then Jimmy Butler ended up going to Minnesota. It was around the Minnesota time where he started to feel himself. Then Jimmy Butler went all the way over to Philadelphia to play with Joel Embiid. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Jimmy Butler and the whole situation out there with the Miami Heat. Trying to figure out how people feel about it. You guys think that, that Miami's actions are just? Or are you guys siding more with Jimmy Butler? I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of the individuals that watched the NBA in the 80s, they're siding more with Pat Riley. It's a new generation. The guys that just started watching basketball now, they're following Jimmy Butler. They're supporting what Jimmy Butler's doing. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think he's being a little bit extra myself. I think, he needs to be disciplined, and an example has to be made out of Jimmy Butler. And I believe that if they do this right, it might be a message that they can send throughout the rest of the league. Maybe not every team in the league could send this message, but at least the Miami Heat could send this message. So a lot of them young, up-and-coming superstars that are coming, they know what to expect if they're going to play for the Miami Heat. Because Pat Riley's one of the only individuals that's keeping it more about the team instead of about an individual. Now, I didn't make any picks today. Not yet. Not yet. I got to double check and see who's playing. I haven't seen the Lakers play in a couple of days. I believe it's because of all those wildfires that they have out there in California. And really and truly, that's a team I'm interested in seeing if there's gonna be any progression with those guys this season, or if they're gonna continue to shit the bed, as far as I'm concerned. But I will be checking a little bit later on. And I will be checking to see who's playing, and I'm gonna make a few picks. I'm gonna make a few of those picks. I mean, the Houston Rockets are playing some decent basketball. OKC, yeah, it definitely is a hit and miss with them, most definitely. But what are we gonna do? I just enjoy watching Lakers play because I enjoy watching them get beat. And I enjoy watching them get beat because then we get to sit around and see exactly what the excuse is going to be for this particular loss. That's just how I feel about it. If you're going to be surrounding your team with an aging superstar, you're going to have to live with whatever results you get. And if you're expected to win a championship with an aging superstar, once again, you're going to have to live with the results that you're going to get. Hit or miss, that's exactly what it is. Jimmy Butler, as far as I'm concerned, is acting like a prima donna right now, and he's getting what he rightfully deserves. He's getting what he rightfully deserves. I mean, when he went to Minnesota, you saw exactly how he disrupted that because he wanted to force their hand for a trade. He went and disrupted that entire situation, forced them out for a trade, end up in Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia, you were one game away from the championship when you were in Philadelphia. For whatever reason, you weren't getting along with the coach or whatever the case may be. Once again, you started up with your antiques, you forced their hand, they had to trade you. Now, you're with the Miami Heat. But unfortunately, Miami's not putting up with any of your nonsense. And I truly believe that Jimmy Butler is going to have to be an individual to take a step back from everything that's happening. Because this suspension, this 7-game suspension, if I'm not mistaken, he's not getting paid for any one of those games. When they use a word like banned, you're banned for 7 games. You are banned for 7 games. That means you're not getting paid for nothing, my friend, because you're not injured. And then on top of that, I ended up hearing that not only that, because I guess, you know, they have the whole Players Association and all that kind of stuff where the union in the NBA. And apparently, like, you know, Jimmy Butler, of course, he would want to fight the suspension. But allegedly, apparently, Pat Riley has even sent videos to the NBA to strengthen his argument of the reason why he had to suspend Jimmy Butler. So does this strike you as an individual that plans on losing this fight? I'm going to remind you guys once again, Pat Riley's one of the individuals from the old school. He doesn't put up with nonsense. He comes from the era where, unfortunately, you had no other choice. You had to respect your coaches. You're absolutely correct. Their relationship is very, very toxic. But I believe the driving force behind that toxic relationship is Jimmy Butler. And it's about time that you see some organizations take back their ownership. It's about time you see some organizations let the players know that they do not run the asylum. It's about time. You guys are going to have to enjoy exactly what Pat Riley's doing, because once Pat Riley's gone, that's the last of the dying breed of the old school mentality. Yeah, I watch the NFL, baby. I watch the NFL. I saw them Washington Commanders do what they needed to do yesterday. Beautiful game. Yes, sir, Bob, man. I'm telling you, the playoffs is rounding out to be very, very nice. I'm going to give you my honest prediction for who I think is going to be in the Super Bowl. The two teams that really should be in the Super Bowl are the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, that being said, I don't think those are going to be the two teams that are going to be in the Super Bowl. I have a funny feeling that if Baltimore meets Buffalo will be the team to upset. Oh, man, no, we can't have any more of the Chiefs, man. Really and truly, enough of those Chiefs. First of all, you see the logo I'm wearing on the side of my hat, right? I am a Raiders fan through and through. Kansas City's in my division. You don't need me to say anymore. You don't need me to say one more word. Enough of these guys now. Enough of Kermit the Frog as quarterback. Enough of Taylor Swift up there with her pom-poms. Enough of the Swifty Nation. And enough of Mr. Swifty that's playing on the field as a tight end. I've just had about enough of them. They're an amazing team. I can't take anything away from their greatness. But you know what, man? It's just time for some new blood. I would even rather see Buffalo win the Super Bowl this year. Now, that's a very good question, and I'm going to answer to the best of my ability. Minnesota, who's been playing absolutely phenomenal ball all season long. My only problem is the quarterback that they have, he doesn't have any kind of playoff experience. So, if you're asking me today who I think is going to win between Minnesota and the Rams, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the Rams are going to win. Yeah, also because of injury, most definitely. But the number one factor for me is because of the fact of the matter that as well as this guy played, you know when the playoffs come around, that's like a totally different season. So the coach from the Rams, he's been in the playoffs before. The coach from the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, has also won a Super Bowl before. So I'm gonna err on the side of experience. I'm gonna go with the Rams against Minnesota. Yes, sir, Bob. I'm gonna go with the Rams against Minnesota. It's in LA. Yeah, there you go. Even worse. So I mean, hey. Everything is set for the Rams to do what they need to do. Yeah. But I mean, if it's anything like what happened this past weekend, it should be a good game. There's been some amazing football. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the fire. I'm thinking if by chance that the fire's still really, causing a lot of problems and stuff like that, they'll just find like another location to play that game. Yeah. But where else would they play? Because it's got to be kind of home field advantage for LA, no? Where else would they play? California is the problem right now. California is under the wildfire, so it'll be interesting. But it really doesn't matter to me where they play. I still think the results are going to be the exact same. I think the Rams are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. Not to mention that coming towards the end of the season, LA was starting to play some decent football. And Minnesota was starting to be a little bit on the decline, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, hey. It's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be very, very interesting. The good thing about it, February, we're going to start. I mean, February is one of the times, February coming around the corner is one of my favorite times, too, because I focus a lot more on college basketball at that time. Oh, yeah. Because, they're going to have the tournament. They're going to have the conference championships happening. And then the road to the 64 is right around the corner. So yeah, this is exciting time for me. I love this time right here. You give me a college basketball game over an NBA game and I'll watch that any day of the week. And twice on Sundays. Main reason, because at least those guys play for the name on the front of their jerseys, not the name on the back. Yeah. If people want my personal opinion on why the quality of the game is not that good in the NBA, I think one of the main reasons is because of the fact of the matter that guys are not going to college. That's my personal opinion. Because back in my day, even if an individual played 2 years of college, it made that much of a difference when he entered the NBA. And if we got lucky and had people out there No, not to my knowledge. I don't think the points count. Wins or losses are what really counts. I do believe that. I'm gonna have to double check that and get back to you. I don't want to be out here spreading any kind of false information. There is a possibility that the larger gap, like for example, if I play a team like Syracuse today and I beat Syracuse by 20 points, and then Georgetown plays Syracuse tomorrow and beats them only by 15 points, I think my 5 extra points counts towards something, but I'm not sure exactly what. I don't believe college burns guys up. Honestly speaking, listen, back in my day, the majority of the stars that you saw in the league played a minimum of 2 years of college ball. Now, when you had players that actually played 4 years, they were NBA ready. Tim Duncan. He may not have been the flashiest individual, but they called him Mr. Fundamental for a reason. He spent 4 years in college, and he was ready for the NBA. Versus a lot of these guys that, if you notice, a lot of these guys that maybe spend just 1 year in college and go into the NBA, a lot of them have to take their bumps and bruises coming off of the bench before they could actually make a name for themselves. Kobe Bryant. If you guys remember, back in the day, Kobe Bryant came directly out of high school. Kobe Bryant wasn't playing any ball his first couple of years. Kobe Bryant was coming off of the bench. He was Byron Scott's rookie back then. Where Byron Scott came on and said, let people know exactly what type of star Kobe Bryant was going to be. Why? Because he saw what he had to offer in practice. But us as individuals had no idea who this kid was. And as far as I'm concerned, just the mere fact of the matter that they were able to go to college and learn a little bit more about how the game is supposed to be played, it was more of a much more polished product for us, the viewers, watching it. Because right now, all they're doing is running up and down the court and jacking up a whole bunch of 3 points. That, to me, I could go to any rec, any YMCA, or any outdoor court and see that type of game. That's just in my humble opinion. When you see guys on a 3-on-1 fast break, 3-on-1 fast break, meaning there's 3 guys attacking the basket and they only have 1 defender back to try and stop all 3 of these guys, and you got guys falling off to the 3-point line for a 3-point shot, there's something definitely wrong with our game. Because back in my day, let me have ever played on a team that had a 3-on-1 fast break and did anything like that, I was guaranteed a spot on the bench for the rest of the game. Why? Because the higher percentage is at the basket. The higher percentage is finishing at the rim. I'm telling you, I mean, like, right now, basketball to me, when I sit down and watch an NBA game, is exactly what they say it is. Sports entertainment. At least when I played it back in the 80s, at least when I watched it back in the 80s, it was competitive entertainment. You understand? There was guys that had as much pride on the defensive side of the ball as they did on the offensive side of the ball. Right now, there is no pride on defense. Right now, they've done everything they could do to take defense out of the NBA. So that's where we are right now. That's where we are right now. And unfortunately, there's nobody really trying to address these matters. So I cannot see the game getting any better anytime soon. The game on a whole, I'm talking about. They're not very consistent. Not at all. Not at all. Back in the day, like I said, I came from an era where you saw a person like a Michael Jordan, who we all knew what Michael Jordan stood for in terms of offense. But yet still, he was still making defensive. He was still making defensive players. He was still one of the top defensive players in the league. He took as much pride on the defensive side of the ball as he did as on the offensive side of the ball, which was 90% of the guys back there in the 80s. They took a lot of pride playing defense. Hence, the bad boy Pistons. I mean, a lot of people remember them for being dirty and all that kind of stuff, but hey, they were probably one of the best defensive teams in the league at their time. They understood that no one man could have stopped Michael Jordan, but as a team, collectively, three-pointers. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's what the game has gone to. A lot, you know, I personally hold Steph Curry responsible for the fact of the matter that the game has gone to what it's gone to in terms of the 3 points. That's my personal opinion. I think Steph Curry had a big hand in ruining the league to what it is right now. You know, when you're coming across half court and hitting those 3-point shots. The reason why I say that is because back in my day in the 80s, if we saw somebody dribble to half court and pull up and take a shot, to us, he's a crazy man. Go ahead, take that shot all day. If you want to come across half court and take that shot 15 times in one game, we would give you that shot 15 times in one game. For the simple fact of the matter, what? You might hit one, maximum 2 of them, knock yourself out. Steph Curry was an individual that made people have to jump out to half court to play him so he wouldn't hit that shot. Because he was hitting that shot in his sleep. Now, what do you think that is when you've got to take you got your defense containing, watching the key. What do you think that is when you got to take one guy from anywhere in that circle to go out and play somebody at half court? The game's messed up right there. The game is messed up right there. And then what made it worse is that he wasn't the only one that was coming out and hitting it from half court. You start to see other individuals, like my man from Atlanta, like my boy, like my boy out in Dallas, Luka. You start to see them come out and hit shots from half court. The game has now been ruined. Because as a coach or whatever the case may be, you can't just turn a blind eye to somebody coming up and pulling up at half court. You can't. Because there's a very good possibility they're going to hit that shot. There we go, my friend. There you go. Now centers are now lining up at the 3-point line to hit 3-point shots. And you have a lot more big men that are shooting it a hell of a lot better, mind you. That's right, Trae Young. That's the one I couldn't remember his name, Trae Young. Now, this is what the game has gone to. That's why now it's just entertaining to me now. Now I sit down and, wow, that's really beautiful. Look at that form of that shot that he hit from the 3-point line. Look at how that ball is rolled. Beautiful. But I'm not watching basketball for the reasons I used to watch it. Now it's to the point in time where I'll watch a game because I'm at home. Versus when I was a kid, I was rushing to get home to watch a game. I don't know if you see the difference. I'll try it again. I will watch a game today if I happen to be home. Versus when I was a kid, I was rushing to get home to watch a game. Now, if I happen to be on the road right now when there's a game being played, hey, life goes on. I don't think I'm missing much. Where if I was missing a Chicago Bulls game back in the day, Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, B.J. Armstrong, Dennis Rodman, Horace Grant, all of those cats back in the day, I personally felt I was violated if I just missed a quarter of that game. So instead of the NBA trying to erase dinosaurs like myself from existence, you should be trying to embrace us and keep us happy, because we're the real, true, passionate fans of your sport. There is no real, true, passionate fans of the NBA right now. Edmonton's an amazing team. You got probably the best player in the league right now on that team. Yes, sir. McDavid is a bad man. I love watching this guy play. He's totally amazing as far as I'm concerned. I love hockey too, but unfortunately, this is where you and I might separate a little bit, because I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan through and through. That's right. That's my squad right there, buddy. Yeah. Just look at our history. Look at the amount of Stanley Cups that we've had back in the day. That was around, that's when I was a kid. So how could I not be a fan of a team that was winning all kind of Stanley Cups? How could I not be? A sport that I'd go outside and skate and stuff like that, but I've never ever played organized hockey. I just grew up being a fan of it. Yeah. Okay. Well, the good thing about you, because of the fact of the matter that you're a Vancouver fan and you enjoy watching Edmonton, that kind of gives me the idea that you're living in Canada. And the good thing about us Canadians is when the playoffs come around, we support our team. Once our team gets eliminated, we jump on the bandwagon of whatever Canadian teams are left. That's how we do it out here. All right, so if the playoffs were to start today and we had Vancouver, Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal all in it, well, I'm back in Montreal. That's my pony right there. But once they get eliminated from the playoffs, then I start looking around and I start picking the best of the litter. Okay. And most of the time, I rock with McDavid. Most of the time, yeah, I rock with McDavid. So they went pretty far last year. I'm hoping they could do something. They could do a little bit of the same this year. But in case you haven't noticed, my Canadians are slowly rounding into proper form. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? The rebuild is real. So we just got to take a stand back and see exactly what happens. But as far as I'm concerned, we do need a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup, though. Enough is enough now. It's our sport, and we can't win the Stanley Cup ever. I'm going to say it again. Hockey is our sport, and we could never, ever, ever in life again have a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup. This is ridiculous. You take McDavid on anything, you can't go wrong, my man. You take him on anything at all, you cannot go wrong. Really? Wow, okay. Under overs, eh? I don't do good with under overs, man. Whenever I bet at sports ticket, I just bet straight up, winner or loser. And the most cash outs I ever get is whenever I'm making a bet on college basketball. That's why I'm looking forward to February and March coming up, because I usually do pretty decent in that, you know? Yeah. The road to the Final Four and stuff like that, my brackets as of late have been getting a little bit better. I would love to experience and know what it feels like to have a perfect bracket, though. Wow. I mean, wow, that's all I can say. You got every single game right? Oh, gosh. 2 years ago, my brackets were done after the first week. Had to tear up my brackets and throw it in the garbage. Yeah. Because the team that I picked to win the entire thing lost in the first round. If that's not a bracket buster, I don't know what is. Wow, really? Lamar, Allen over 1.5. Yeah. Yeah. Love. Okay. Got you. Thought you were talking about Lamar from Baltimore. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry, man. I got faith in you, man. Next week, you're going to have a much better week with your over and under. You heard it here first. And when you do, I need you to come back up here and let me know exactly how good your week was. Oh, yeah. But if anybody else has any kind of input they want to let me know, man. Let me know how you think that whole Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley situation is going to turn out. 1.5. Tampa Bay did. I thought Tampa Bay was going to win that game yesterday, but I really wanted Washington to win it. So I'm kind of happy. Oh, you hit on all those. Good job. Congratulations. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Yeah. Nah, well, I personally think that Jimmy Butler, that Miami should think about trading him. And once again, I think Miami should make an example out of Jimmy Butler. You trade him to where you get the best value for him, not where he wants to go. You hitting all the touchdown totals. Okay. There's a game today? Who's playing today? Do tell. And when you say there's a game today, you're not talking about football. Is there a football game today? I don't think so. Please do tell. Let me know if there's a football game today. If there is, that's good. Yeah. Okay, that's today. Okay. That's today. Well, like I said, you heard me say it here. No, I knew they were playing, but I didn't know they were playing tonight because I'm not used to them playing playoff games on a Monday. You know, Monday nights is usually from, regular season kind of thing. So that's why I was a little bit surprised. I thought they were playing on the weekend coming up. I thought it was going to be one of the weekend games. But okay. Okay. Well, I'm still picking those Rams. I'm still picking the Rams to beat Minnesota. Indeed. Yeah, man. I don't think the Rams are gonna. Yeah, I don't think the Vikings are gonna be able to deal with it. Yeah. What's the totals for that game? The total points for that game? What do they predict it to be for the over under? I don't know. I have a funny feeling that game's going to finish like something like 27-24 or something like that. I think they're going to put some points on the board in that game. Both teams. But it's just the experience. It's just the experience that that the quarterback from Minnesota doesn't have, and that I think is gonna hurt him. $47.5. Wow. I would lean more towards the over for that. Yeah. I'd lean to more towards the over for that one. That hits all the time, yeah? Okay. You seem like you know what you're doing there. I like that. I'm gonna have to talk to you when I'm ready to make my bets. So do me a favor, get yourself familiar with all the college basketball teams. You know, you have till February. You know what I mean? Get yourself familiar. I'm coming back to talk to you about who I should be picking. One thing that does help a lot, especially when you're picking college basketball games, pay close attention to the records. Hey, what's going on, Miss Carla? How you doing? Pay close attention to the records and also the records for their division, for their conference. That's how I normally determine who I'm picking to really win a game or not. See how they did overall in their overall record and how they did within their conference. And then, you know, like, you got to do a little bit more research. You got to try and find out, you know, which conference was more competitive. You know, there's a little bit more groundwork that goes into it, but that's basically how I start off making my picks for college basketball. You're a baseball guy. Okay. Baseball, yeah, I know. When they robbed my city of our team, that's when. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll watch baseball in October. I'll watch the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. But anything before that, nah. They took my team and gave it to Washington. So, you know, it still leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. Yeah. I hope they do trade Jimmy Butler. I just don't want him to trade him to my team. I don't want to have to deal with that trick and pony show. So I hope they find out exactly where he wants to go and then trade him to the total opposite side of the equator. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, you like the Vegas Knights? You like the Vegas Knights? I like the Vegas Knights. I like their uniforms. And they're also out there in Vegas, playing in the same city as my Raiders, so I have to have a little bit of a softness for them. But that's about as far as that goes. My team is and always will be the Montreal Canadiens, baby. We represent. Well, I'm about to get out of here and get back to work now, because, you know, it's that time. My break is Basically over. Who, Vegas is pretty predictable at home? I gotta give them credit though. They're probably, I mean, you know, they've been a beast in this league ever since they came into the league. If I'm not mistaken, I think their first year in the league, they went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I mean, hey, you got to give them some credit. It's just that they've been through quite a couple coaches in such a short space of time, wouldn't you say? Yeah. But the one good thing that Vegas did was give us our Montreal Canadiens Nick Suzuki. Thank you for that. Oh yeah, we'll take him. It's a bad man right there. Well, people, on that note, I want you guys to have yourself a blessed Monday. If you're out here in the streets of Montreal, it's a little bit gray, but it's not too cold out there, so that's a good thing. Stay safe, man. Maximus, like I said, man, I need you to do what you got to do. Check out those college teams. Get yourself prung with those teams and let me know who I should be picking in February. You stay blessed, man. Have yourself a blessed day. Double the Innocence with your boy E-Dub is out. Have a blessed day, people.